Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games.
Spanky's quest will continue until morale improves.
Oh no.
KZ Excellent.
I'm Adverb about noun.
And Mr. Feel.
You don't have schools, you have mechs.
Here on GigaBoots.
Hello, everyone. It's been a real doozy over the last week. We have played some video games. Isn't that right, Bob?
Yeah, we also ate some things.
It's true. Should we open with the things we ate? I feel like we should open with the things we ate.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
Things singular. Bob, what is this pizza you brought into this home?
On the advice of Mr. Feel, I brought home the Outlaw Pizza from Papa Murphy's.
The Frito Outlaw. Frito's in the name.
Yeah, that's true. It's covered in Fritos.
I watched them eat it. I watched Bob's face change 4 times in 3 seconds.
So let's go over the topics on this pizza. There is onions. There are green onions as well.
Oh.
There are what kind of barbecue? Like pork?
It's pulled
It's brisket.
Yeah, it's beef.
Okay. All right. It's got a barbecue sauce.
Yeah. It's got creamy garlic sauce too.
It's got cheese on it. I think that's everything. I think we finally covered it all.
And it's on a thin crust.
Well, ours wasn't.
Yeah, I got the other one because I wanted a meal and not whatever thin crust pizza is.
We call those appetizers. Just eat the whole thing and be like, okay, where's the real food? Yeah, that's not a pizza I would eat to fill myself or enough to have a whole meal ever. How do you describe it? It's really, really insanely sweet.
I would say it's also insanely salty.
See, I don't think it was as sweet as that taco pizza was, but it is pretty sweet.
It's pretty friggin' sweet. I like the meat on it. That's about where the things I like ends, though. I don't know. How about you, Bob? What did you...
I felt like the two sauces were really clashing. Like, they just didn't seem to fit together at all.
We haven't even mentioned where this is from, Bob.
No, I did. I said Papa Murphy's.
Okay, you said Papa Murphy's?
Yeah,
okay.
you did.
Okay, thank God. I was like, man, are we just insane and sitting here like, what is this pizza Bob brought?
I made this.
It was in his hands.
You have to eat it. I shipped one to Feel. Shipping cost $60.
Oh my God.
I like how I was like, maybe if you air fry it, it might be better.
Yeah, and then I air fried it.
I did air fry the leftovers.
Yeah, and then he looked at me, he looked at the air fryer, and he did that about 2 more times. I'm like, you want me to turn it on? And he's like, I got it.
Yeah, no, I'll try it out. Yeah, not a fan of that pizza. Definitely not in the pantheon of pizzas I would ever order.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you two feel about it.
I feel like this is the worst pizza I've had from Papa Murphy's. I really didn't like it.
That's probably the case. Yeah, probably. Feel.
I thought it was okay. I might have had a different experience because mine sat in the fridge for like 3 days, and flavors do develop when that happens.
Yeah, that might help.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, I don't think I'll ever order it again. But right now it goes taco pizzas at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Then this.
Mm-hmm.
Then above that is the cheeseburger pizza they have sometimes, which is the only one of the 3 I would actually order instead of just like pepperoni or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how to rank their pizzas.
So this is, I will eat this if you put it in front of me is my review.
That's about where I'm at with it. Like, I could eat it. I'd rather not. I'd rather eat basically anything else. But you know, if I'm at a business meeting and it's either eat that or eat nothing and be bored and or hungry, I guess I'll eat that pizza. Bob, where do you rank it?
Yeah, I guess that's about where it sits. Of like, I would eat this to like provide sustenance. Like, if I need to eat something, I could eat this, but it's real rough. Like, this thing is just so salty. I just don't like it.
It's probably the worst thing I've had Fritos on.
Yeah, like Fritos really didn't match the whole anything about this pizza.
Yeah,
and then clearly where all the salt came from.
Yeah, I like taco soup and in other things you can make with Fritos. This ain't doing it. Well, with all the food talk out of the way, let's get to what we've been playing. Bob, we did Ninja Theory Week.
Yeah, we did.
I'm going to do a few words on each game.
Okay, go for it.
Hellblade is really bizarre and not what I imagined. It feels a lot like if you tried to stick more action combat into an Uncharted game and then tried to make it artistic in the ending, and it being a reimagining of Journey to the West.
Oh, you mean Enslaved? You said Hellblade.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh my god. I should retake this whole segment. People are going to be very confused, but oh well, we're going to keep running. Enslaved is what I'm talking about. Man, could you imagine if Hellblade tried to be Uncharted? A triple I Uncharted?
That'd
That'd be really rough, but maybe better than what it is.
It's like a boat capsizing. No, smaller scale. Filing cabinet falling over. But yeah, Enslaved, Uncharted-esque, but lower rent, with some sort of action gameplay mechanics in it. It's not a terribly developed combat system. It might be less developed than Heavenly Sword. I don't know. Didn't expect that game to be the way it was, and didn't really enjoy it, but it wasn't too terrible until the DLC. It wasn't absolutely rock bottom until the DLC. Ninja Theory, in the future, I would appreciate it if you made more bosses. All of the games we played in the last week need more bosses. They, for some reason, have like 2 for the whole game.
Western devs really hate bosses for some reason. Probably because you have to have like a well-designed game for them to work.
Well, the bosses are not just an enemy, but they are the level design. And when it's a boss, it becomes the case even more so than a regular enemy. Bob, do you want to say some words before we move on past Enslaved?
I was really astonished that the story of Enslaved basically didn't add up at all, and it felt like the ending must have been written in much later.
Yes, I feel like none of the rest of it really plays into its ending at all, like in the least.
Yeah.
None of it led to be about that, and none of what happens throughout the game matches with the speech the person at the end of the game makes. So
no, it's almost like a really stupid person wrote it and was just like, this will be clever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure interested in a game that is about what that ending decided this game was about, but the rest of the game really wasn't about that.
It's really frustrating that every one of these games I've heard of from multiple people. Yeah, this is their best one.
It's true. Every game we played in the last week was their best game, I've heard.
Yes.
Enslaved, DMC, and Hellblade. And this is actually my first time going through the entirety of all 3. Because I had not seen DMC from the absolute beginning all the way till the end.
Yeah.
And I had not played Hellblade or Enslaved. I played a demo for Enslaved and realized it wasn't for me, and then just never checked out the final game. Because I didn't have money for that shit.
I also wasn't expecting Enslaved to run like so methodically. The stages are going to be Uncharted moment, sneaking moment, combat moment, and it'd just be cycling between those 3 things over and over in ways that feel really forced.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I expected more than 3 characters.
Yeah, that was another thing that was really weird.
That felt like the real gut punch there, where every opportunity to have more characters, you just get gut punched. Never happens.
Yeah.
That felt so bizarre.
There are no villains.
Because when you think about Journey to the West, right? You think rich characters, right? This has 3.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no villain characters. There are no circumstantial characters.
Yeah, it's really weird.
An audio log of a character plays at one point.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, that's the closest we got to like a 4th character until the ending, which I'm not counting that because that character doesn't even exist in the game. Anyway, you want to move on?
Sure.
Okay, well, let's move on. We then played the DMC, Run DMC. Bob played it. We did the launch PS3 version because Bob knows some secret tech. I think everyone was very
I was
thrilled.
very happy with that. Also, every single journalist who was like, it's fine the way this game runs should be put in jail.
Yeah.
Yes, frankly, yes. They should have their journalist license taken away. 22 frames per second is not good
I had
enough.
never seen the PS3 360 versions. I only ever played it on PC. I assumed it was relatively stable 30.
Yeah,
No.
it caps out like 25, it feels like.
Because there was so much of a press cycle about 30's fine, 30's fine, 30's fine. I couldn't imagine. No, it averages around 22.
Just like, calm down. I'm like, no, this runs like shit.
And then it's constantly dropping all of the audio. Like,
Yeah,
it just pops in and out. It's really bad.
Yeah, I noticed they kind of consistently had that problem across every game we played from them this week.
Yes.
And I know Heavenly Sword also has that problem. They're a very consistent studio. They've never not been this studio. That's for certain. They did, however, not have Andy Serkis for DMC and Hellblade, so there's that.
Yeah, you got the downgrade.
There's that thing that changed. I don't have anything to say about DMC other than the story really sucks, and between that and the aesthetic, it's really hard to stay motivated to play that all the way through. I know I never would have made it outside of a stream because I don't know what you could enjoy about it.
Mundus freezing during cutscenes.
Sorry, Mundus.
Mundus freezing during cutscenes.
Yeah, when the tomato sword gets used on him.
just anytime he's like, but I'm like, your model's frozen for 3 seconds.
Yeah, he looked like the Marge Simpson mid-dance frame. It fucked me up because I was like, there's a frame after this, right? No.
Why would you think that?
Yeah, at a certain point, it's like, maybe these cutscenes should have been pre-rendered because, oh man, you guys can't run this.
And you can tell when they are because they run at 30.
Right.
You can tell the moment it cuts to pre-rendered because it runs well.
I think one of my favorite things was how long the That's So Raven like brain blast things went on PS3 because they're loading. Because on PC it was like maybe 20 seconds instead of a minute and a half.
Yeah, it was really funny because it waits to play some audio clips as it gets to certain points in the load, and they're all really they're all audio clips you've already heard. So you'll wait for 4 seconds in silence as a tunnel flies past, and then you'll just hear, here's this cutscene from the first. Here's this quote for the first cutscene of the game. Only other thing I wanted to mention: it's really bizarre to me for level 1 to be like, "Oh, Dante's attacked by demons, and there's this person named Kat here, and she's going to explain, the limbo and take him to, their secret organization, which is just Virgil in a really big building." Mission 2 is go to this house you grew up in and touch paintings to get devil powers. And I'm like, this is written by an idiot. This is stupid. What video game would you ever fucking level 1, secret organization, level 2, touch paintings to gain power? I'm like, Devil May Cry is its own kind of stupid, right?
Right.
You kick the shit out of Cerberus and it becomes ice nunchucks. Try nunchucks. That's stupid and incredible. It's not, well, he needs to have powers. Let's have him touch paintings of his parents. What? It really bugs me. It really bugs me because it seems lazy.
How much Phil was pointing out that apparently the writer did not know that Nero and Dante were a separate character. That's why there's things like the Blue Rose and stuff for Dante.
Yeah, Rebellion, the reason that he didn't, and that's why Rebellion has like a weird hook on it that is obviously visually evoking the throttle on the sword, on the Red Queen.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't realize till this time, seeing every Ninja Theory game in a row, that they just made Dante's mom Ninja Theory woman.jpg.
The thing that hit me from doing this Ninja Theory week is every female protagonist in every Ninja Theory game, though it might have been Twin Twang instead of Naruto in Heavenly Sword, has to sit on their butt on the ground with their knees up in a fetal position and wrap their arms around their shins. They have to do this.
That's opposed to Meme's girlfriend did a lot.
I guess. I don't fucking know. It's terrible. It's really terrible because I was like, well, certainly Hellblade will be fine. We can get through that and that won't happen. And then halfway through it did it. I was like, come on. How is it like this? How is it always like this? But anyway, that's some fucking it's weird. It's weird when you play the output from a studio and you see these things that consistently happen in every single thing. That's all I'm going to say about DMC. Bob,
I got one more thing.
Sure.
When we played the DLC for Virgil and found out one of his moves is called divorce. I'm still dying. It's still amazing that you can learn divorce level 2.
It has the energy of this is like a PS1 game that's not translated good, but English speakers made it,
right? Yeah. And every other move in this game is directly taken from some move in real Devil May Cry. So it's so strange for it to just be like divorce.
Yes, that's their original
Stop
one.
calling me Epic Divorce Man.
No.
Worth noting for anyone who doesn't realize, this is the original version. So Virgil's still in a fedora and gains the power of divorce level 2.
Stop saying that.
It's what it literally is called that.
I know.
I think even the original DLC, he didn't wear the fedora anymore. He dropped the fedora by the end of the game initially.
But it's very funny that it's like this is Fedora Virgil's true form.
Yes.
This is his ultimate power, divorce. That's fucking insane. Yeah, moving on to Hellblade. Hellblade is literally the most cynical thing I could think of for that game. I assumed there was something missing every time I heard people describe it as it's combat that's kind of like designed for 1v1, but you'll get jumped by 3 or 4 guys all at once, and the moment they spawn, they'll punch you. And you go to a room to find shapes, so that way you spend longer in each area. That and tons of mocap performance. That's the game. And I'm like, that seems like you're probably underselling it. I think that's a pretty accurate summary. I think all of the trappings of 7th gen with none of the ambition is what you get with Hellblade.
Yeah.
But of course, it's through the veneer of like pretentious artistry. So I brought up slam poetry during
You did.
during the stream. That's how that came off. And yeah, I didn't really enjoy it at all. But it was a fun stream because I had a binaural mic. We have the exact same mic that Ninja Theory used to record the game, so me whispering in the ears sounded like the game exactly. To the point of when I left the stream to go pick up Pizza Hut, I was wearing my AirPods, and I'm walking through a parking lot, and I hear a clicking sound in the parking lot. I get fucking terrified because it's to the front of me and on the left and way too close. Like I think it's like 6 feet out maybe. And then I realized that's Bob's hitting Xbox controller buttons. That's what I'm hearing. I'm like, man, this mic's incredible. No wonder people are having anxiety attacks watching this stream. Well, that and I kept whispering things like, Windows just updated. Nothing works.
God, now I'm remembering the weird distortion filters they put on voices and how it sounded wrong. Because it was like, instead of sounding like mystical or like something in your head, it sounded like Discord problems.
Yeah, it was like a like what?
Yummy.
Like that plus a flanger?
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Yeah. I also thought it was really weird that the binaural mic, like they never lock down the camera.
Right.
Whenever you're hearing the binaural mic. So the 3D, because for people who don't know, a binaural mic makes a 3D audioscape around you very believably just through the power of the mic. We just hook 2 XLR cables up to it, 2 audio cables, and then record a stereo track, and it sounds like the proper 3D space of a room. Well, the thing is, it's spinning the camera, and none of that changes because you can't really rotate 3D audio like binaural audio. I thought they would lock it down. So it kind of had this moment of like, well, if I'm her, right? If I am Senua, then the voices should be in 3D space. So that way they sound like they're around me, I would think. Because they're supposed to sound external to you. That's the whole point.
Right.
Like, because with this game, they're supposed to be looking into, like, it's supposed to be based on the concept of schizophrenia and psychosis. So that's what I would think. So it gets really weird when it rotates the camera and it still does that. Aside from that, I get exactly why this game is the way it is, right? Ninja Theory didn't have a publisher. They had to make something big in their opinion. They needed a gimmick that wasn't an expensive budget gimmick. And a $2,000 microphone definitely fit the bill. And I'm sure Tamim or whoever came up with the idea when they heard the binaural mic thing, when they thought about that, when they were watching their ASMR streams, they thought to themselves, man, this sounds like a voice in my head. And then they thought to themselves, we should do a game that looks into this. I think where it falls apart is even more so, not going to get into spoilers too much, even more so than Returnal. All of the metaphor, allegory, and name symbolism doesn't really do anything here, like at all. Absolutely not. There in Returnal had a point. I didn't love it. I think the game would have been fine without it. But here, it just, there's like a missing layer of a story to me. to me, it on paper isn't really about, like, it's an allegory about that thing while it's acting as though it's that thing. And that's a little frustrating as someone playing through it. But yeah, anyway, it would have been fine if I enjoyed the gameplay. I really didn't enjoy combat and walking around a room looking at shapes. The funny thing is the first 2 hours of the game have the worst level design. And then I feel like the middle chunk really actually remotely accomplishes what it sets out to do. Mm-hmm. You know, you reach a watchtower. And this watchtower has a bridge that's open to it and a mask you can stare at to change the time of day to open up other paths to allow you to get to certain areas to unlock doors for other times of the day to find things to affect that change how lights cast during the other time of day. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool and will almost undoubtedly not be in the sequel.
I mean, that was the one puzzle they felt like they fully expanded on.
Yeah.
It was it. That was the only one, though.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the game is just like lesser versions of that.
Yeah.
So they do that once in the very middle of the game. And then the rest is really bad.
I think they did it a few times, but I do think the first 2 hours of the game is real bad, like the worst. And then when you start, we're going to get a little into spoilers here. So if you care about Hellblade, maybe skip like 2 minutes because I can't see us talking about it this much longer. When you start getting to the point of the game where it's like, no, the darkness, schizophrenia, is a part of you, and the only way people will be safe is to kill yourself. That's why I killed your mother. I'm like, okay, game, I really don't like how you're dealing with these analogs right now. And then the ending of the game is like, no, it's okay. She just stopped thinking about her lost loved one, and then she was fine. I'm like, what?
Oh, okay.
Was this game about that? I thought it was about this other mental illness thing, not just...
No, she's over it now. She's over the mental illness. She figured it out.
It felt really weird because the whole message of the game is that the darkness in her is holding on to the memory of this loved one to make her hurt while she's just trying to remember them in a positive way, right? Mm-hmm. That to me doesn't quite work in this for me. And if people disagree with me, that's fine. I'm just expressing how I feel about it. And frankly, I don't give a shit what you feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know where this came. I don't know where this section came from.
This section comes from people think in the comment section, they're going to be like, Dan, let me explain the story to you. And I'm like, no, I was there. Thank you. Yeah. So I don't dig any part of it. And the music was like cool at one moment. And I remember the exact moment. It sounded kind of like the trailer for 2.
Oh yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, I like that one song. It was really cool.
From the same band.
It probably was. That band's real cool.
Radiohead.
Galuria's into that band. Could you imagine? I did start whispering "creep" into the microphone.
What?
Yes, just to fuck with people. They were losing it in chat.
What's wrong with you?
I was trying to add another layer to the stream, and thank fucking Christ, if we didn't have that binaural mic, I don't know how I would have survived that 8-hour stream.
Yeah, this game is real long.
Yeah, call it fucking Nothing Blade.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about, Bob.
Yeah, I guess for as far as Hellblade goes, I really expected there to be some higher level to the story for anything else to be going on. This is another game that has almost no characters.
Yeah, in fact, it has technically one.
Yeah,
and then everyone else is filmed with a camera and superimposed onto the game.
And it looks really rough.
It's hard to not find it funny.
Yeah, every time the loved one comes up, it's extra funny.
It's okay. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for saving money.
Uh-huh.
This might be the most unfair comparison of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what game was about anxiety and mental illness and abusive thoughts and stuff, and intrusive thoughts, but was also really great mechanically and had incredibly good music, and even if you didn't have those conditions, you could relate to it because it was presented in a good way.
Because there's humanity.
Celeste.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And people were pointing that out in chat. Now, I've heard as much before, and that's really great. That's really great. Oh, and we need to cover ourselves. For anyone who hasn't played the game, because I didn't play the game before, so I didn't fucking know. The mental health thing is not a marketing thing exclusively. The moment you boot the game, it tells you, hey, this is a story delving into this stuff. This is all about this. And once you start a new game, the top billing in the intro credits is the mental health advisor. So it's not a marketing gimmick. It's the game. It is what the game is. It's what it's about, clearly, because the plot is about that. And it's a very relatively straightforward covering of that in its own metaphorical way.
That made things make a bit more sense when I've talked to you about it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Where whenever we talked about it, you were very flippant about it, and you thinking it was only a part of the marketing would make your responses previously make sense.
Well, I think Ninja Theory is incredibly cynical, and I don't trust them to handle this subject matter. That's why I'm that flippant. Playing the game, it's not as bad as I was afraid, because Heavenly Sword's right over there showing how bad it could be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so at least it didn't hit that level. Like, at no point were Bob and I deeply offended, but there's definitely some questionable handling of some sensitive subject material. And I'm not sitting here like, you can't say it, you can't talk about that. Like, of course you can talk about that. I prefer things, explore spaces like that, because people who struggle with that stuff can feel lonely and feel like no one else goes through any of that stuff. And it's important to cover these things, because if no one's covering them, it just feels like people are completely alone in tackling a thing. You know, a lot of people don't have a lot of emotional support structures or extended friend networks or things that they're a part of to find other people who deal with the struggles they deal with. So I think at some level it's important in fiction and other things to cover stuff like this. I just think Ninja Theory is the last company I would have come to for that, for a strong female protagonist dealing with mental illness because of various things in their prior games. Once again, the Ninja Theory trademark move that is woman in fetal position exactly the same in every game,
Or being hit.
which happened in this. You literally see her physically abused by her father, but we're gonna pump the brakes on this conversation. Bob, anything else?
The last thing, don't use the 120 hertz mode. It literally can cause soft locks during the worst puzzle in the game.
Oh yeah, the performance mode on the Series X actually got us stuck in the worst puzzle of the game twice or three times?
Twice. So we just turned it off.
Yeah, so we had to reboot the game twice.
The worst puzzle in the game that you can walk into is the first room in the game almost.
Yes. And this wasn't just us saying it's our worst puzzle of the game. This was us after beating the game going, yeah, that was the worst part of the game. And the chat immediately when it happened, one of the people who had played the game was like, this is literally the worst puzzle of the game, just a heads up.
Yeah,
we're like, yeah, we know, we're feeling it.
When the whole mechanic of the game is walk around, look at stuff, having your walk speed that slow is a sin.
It is deliberate. That is an intentional decision that makes that game take longer to play.
Yeah, that's what all those like walking simulators do. Like I tried to play Dear Esther once.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey game developers, if you're gonna make a game like this, and you look out on the street and see people walking and they're walking faster than your protagonist, you're wrong.
That dude's clearly hammered and he's racing me.
It's like I've seen homeless individuals who are clearly intoxicated who move more quickly than this.
Yes. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. You good, Bob?
Yeah, I'm good. That's really disappointing.
Yeah, Ninja Theory Week overall was really disappointing. I've known various people who have hyped up Enslaved and Hellblade, and I was hoping for something that I would at least enjoy at some level, and neither really hit that. If I had to replay any game from this week, it would be Enslaved, hands down. Bob, I believe you said DMC.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
the DMCA it gets a buff because I can cheat. Because
yeah, that's right. We're gonna cheat.
using that fly glitch is more fun than any moment of Enslaved.
Of course, it's beautiful.
That thing was fantastic. The Y pose is beautiful.
Yes.
You look like Morpheus in the Matrix 1 leaping to the air in slow-mo in the dojo, but you're frozen like that, flying at 100 miles an hour.
Yes.
It's really good. I could obviously see why that would be the case for you, Bob.
But yeah, I mean, I think even doing the regular combat for a DMC would make it better than Enslaved. Enslaved is such a cynical, we made Uncharted, but really bad.
Yeah,
It's so hard.
at the end of the day, I'd rather deal with that than color matching enemies with holding triggers for combat. Like I'm honestly at the point with DMC where I'm like, Lords of Shadow is a better game. If it didn't burn down an entire franchise, I think it would be a markedly better game. But both of these things are out here doing the same shit. Just burned down the whole franchise. This is what it is now.
I like the music in Lords of Shadow sometimes, mainly that end of level jingle.
Oh yeah, that shit's funny every time it hits. I like the environmental art in Lords of Shadow, and I think the character designs in that are vastly better than
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit.
It's just the Lord of Shadow is twice as long and has a lot of
It's an
has
enormous
worse
game.
puzzles.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it has
Puzzle
worse
solved.
Yeah, it has worse platforming too.
At least some of
So-
the puzzles let you opt out, where you just go no. The game's like, okay, you can go.
You caught me. Okay.
I'm just imagining the Carl running gif, but then it stops and zooms out because you finished the Lords of Shadow level.
Oh my god,
Yes.
I need to make that video right now.
Please write that down. Keep it in your brain.
Anyway,
Gabriel saw that she, in fact, did not have a ring on that finger.
Thank you, Patrick Stewart. God.
Gabriel, he saw that she did not have a ring on that finger, and he hurried. I killed her.
It'll be really great. People listening 2 years from now going, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It's like, don't worry, it's just a 15-year-old Aqua Teen episode.
Yeah, we're just talking about Aqua Teen. What's fucking new? Anyway, so that's it for Ninja Theory Week. Unfortunately, Kung Fu Chaos couldn't get that working because the Xbox HDMI mod tries to force 480p on every game that it runs on, and it cannot do that to Kung Fu Chaos. So it just doesn't run right at all. We're getting a disc so we can use it on our other Xbox. And that should be here sometime. But we got more important things to stream in the short-term future, like No More Heroes 1 and 2.
And Travis Strikes Again.
Probably. That's the stance I have on that right now. Probably. I want to look into it, but we'll have to see if time permitting
Right.
that it allows for that. However, we did not just do a Ninja Theory Week. I played some retro games.
You did play things of your own volition.
It was pretty cool. I just started up a stream and started beating video games. Let's get the first one out of the way. Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse on the Super NES. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, they made a Ghost and Goblins-esque game starring Mickey Mouse giving him powers slowly, and the first level of the game is the worst. So I never want to recommend this to someone without the qualifier, hey, just so you know, that first level is the absolute worst. Because if you go, hey, this game's great, and they try it, they're going to try that first level and go, my friend's a fucking moron. You get really cool powers like magician powers to shoot out energy beams. You get a hook shot to beat Bionic Commando Mickey. And then you get fireman outfit to put out like fire demons and stuff using the hose. It's a pretty fun game. It's got neat mechanics, neat little levels. Pete is literally the devil from Ghost and Goblins at the end of the game.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I need to send you a picture of this shit. But yeah, it's a really enjoyable game. I wish Bob was there.
I tuned in for parts of it over the stream. So I saw chunks of it. Mickey's demented the whole time. It's the creepiest smile I've ever
I
seen
really
Mickey
don't
have.
like it.
It's funny as shit because I also look at the one in the what is the first one on the Genesis
The
called?
Castle of Illusion.
I look at his face in Castle of Illusion. I'm like, his face is demented here. So we're just looking at each other's childhood Mickey Mouse games going, what's with these fucking sprites?
I'm like, this is the bastard that joined Kingdom Hearts. Abandoning women.
Mm-hmm.
That look is exactly the one that he gives.
Let me see. I'm gonna get a picture of this because I think KZ does deserve to see Pete as a giant demon king.
You know, I've been good. I deserve it, as a treat.
There we go. Perfect fucking frame. Here we go. Let me post this and mark this in the podcast.
Yep, let's have a look at this picture of Pete.
Put that in the BTD channel. Boom.
And
Oh my god.
Yeah, he even like steps around in the same way where he just shuffles back and forth, shooting his magic power and summoning demons.
the outlines on his mouth make him feel a lot more gooey than normal.
Well, I've damaged
I
him
really
immensely.
appreciate the big
Yes.
on his cloak.
Yes. He, in case you forgot who you're fighting, he even has banners in the background that say P. It has that classic SNES effect where when the enemy gets hurt, they get pixelated. That's one of my favorite Super NES effects because it's a built-in special effect. It wasn't like everyone had that idea. It was literally, hey, this can do that. And everyone went, oh, cool. Just like, hey, this music chip can add reverb to everything. They're like, okay, then we'll add it to everything. But yeah, anyways, that game's really cool if you tough it out through the first level. Next game, Spanky's Quest. Spanky's Quest is incredible. Action platformer. I brought it up before. It's on Nintendo Switch Online. You guys should try it.
Yeah, excuse you. Monkey Reflections.
Yes. The Adventures of Jiro-kun or whatever. I am going to go ahead and say if you can play the Japanese version, play that version. There's going to be Japanese text on screen trying to teach you what to do in each area, but that's better than the alternative. Spanky's Quest is a difficult game. The reason why is you get 3 hits to get through an entire world, which is 10 levels and a boss.
Whoa.
Jesus.
And if you take too long in any one level, the Raven hunts you down and kills you. It hits you, and then it goes away for a bit. The Japanese version gives you 5 hits, and there is no Raven that hunts you per level.
What? Oh, good. It's one of those.
Yep.
The title sequence in America is a hideous DOS-looking piece of crap, okay? For anyone who hasn't seen it, it literally looks like someone made it on their PC in a hurry, and now I know why. It's a completely original to the US version art. It's really heinous looking, actually.
And this is Nintendo or
no, this is Natsume.
Natsume? Okay.
Natsume. This is a SNES game. I'm going to post that too. It looks like Spanky's breaking out with a skin condition because of the dithering they use.
Oh, wow, I do see that ancient PC game look.
Yeah.
I hate his legs.
It's terrible. All of it's terrible. Yeah, he has like runner's legs.
Yeah, I know. Like, look at this Tom Cruise.
Man, look at that strawberry shred.
Yeah, he's so cool. What a wicked strawberry. Yeah, this image was just made for the States. The Japanese version doesn't have an intro, but it does have cutscenes, including an ending cutscene, whereas the US version just goes, hey, these are the bosses you fought. They just didn't want to translate text, so there's no tutorial in the States. There's just World 1, and it's harder than the Japanese World 1. And my favorite thing, because last week on BTD, we were like, hey, this game in Japan, Monkey Reflections, what a funny name. When you get hit in the Japanese version, Spanky looks sad, and the text that pops up next to him says, reflecting. Because he's reflecting on the mistake he made.
That's really funny, but oh my god.
That's really good, actually.
It's really good. I was like, what does that text say? He looks so sad. This animation isn't in the States at all.
Monkey Reflection.
Yeah, this is his monkey reflection. I guess we really are The Last of Us. But yeah, that game's really good. If the US version's too hard, use the Japanese one. I also beat the Japanese one. We just covered that, though. Moving on. I avenged my youth, not only for Spanky's Quest, but for one other game in the last week. I beat MC Kids, which is Mick Kids, the McDonald's branded NES game, where you have to go get Ronald McDonald's magic bag back because the Hamburglar stole it and went and hid in a volcano, and he's like, I'm going to die in here, help.
Yeah, what sounds like the Hamburglar.
Fucking asshole.
Please, assistance.
I was really happy that once I started this Avenging My Youth, Phil immediately erupted into the stream, was just like, please avenge your youth so you can do mine as well vicariously. And I'm like, oh God, other people grew up with this. That's a shame. Because I don't remember buying this game. I don't remember getting this game. My mother used to work at McDonald's when I was a kid, so I assumed at some level, maybe she got it through corporate, right? Maybe it was a giveaway to employees. Maybe that was how... I have no idea. This thing came out in 1992 on the NES.
Huh.
That's 2 years into the SNES.
Yeah.
Or one in America. I don't know. I don't remember the numbers exactly. This game's Amiga core, which is weird because it was not made for the Amiga first, like I assumed my entire life. It was made for the NES first. So even though the soundtrack sounds like it's made on a SID chip, and the platforming is, hey, Banjo-Kazooie? What if this was like a nightmare version of that in 2D? where it's just like, you need to know to go to this spot to step through this zipper to appear over here to get this item, and then you can end the level. It's really weird.
Yeah, I'm really glad I didn't join you for this. I almost did, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break. And then I saw you still streaming it 5 hours later. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm glad I wasn't there.
I'm like, whatever. I could just stay at home with no pants.
This is stream attire for me, says Casey, wearing pants, no pants.
Yeah.
This game has really great music. Man, it's just fucked up. Bob, it's a 2D platformer, right?
Yeah.
I had to look up maps and strategy guides.
Yeah, that's when you described it as Banjo Core. I figured that's what had to happen.
That's the point it got to. I've never ever had to do that for a 2D platformer, and it's like, hey, you need to know exactly where to do this thing in order to arrive at that spot to grab that thing.
Yeah, whatever. That sounded like the experience of ordering McDonald's on a phone.
I did arrive at the end of the level, and I'm like, hey, I got the M card, and they went, no, you didn't. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, there's another. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? So I could see the parallels. But yeah, I'm really glad I beat that game. I then looked into every other version, and they're all horrifying looking. I posted that on Twitter for anyone who's curious about that, but Jesus H. Christ. Shit is horrifying. But that's going to do it for games I played, Bob.
We did also one more very important stream.
Yep.
At the end of DMC.
The funniest tax write-off in history.
What did we do at the end of DMC, Bob? I just don't even remember.
We booted up Genshin. People gave us $700 or $800.
Yeah, they gave Bob $800 to roll his waifu that he had not been able to roll, as we brought up in last BTD. You did 80 rolls?
100 rolls before we got to the ones they paid for.
Yeah, so 100 rolls, and he didn't get her. And then chat was like, we got your back, Bob. We headed into that with $285. Bob does the first roll, gets Ayaka.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I had a feeling that would happen with the pity system,
right?
With how many he rolled.
Yeah. And then people, for some reason, kept showing more money until we had the final evolution, like C6 Ayaka. It's like, guys, we don't need this.
Yeah,
we really don't need this. I just need the one.
Yeah, no, you need this.
I felt real bad.
Chat's like, we need Ayaka to be motivated.
Yeah, I wish you had gotten 8 so we could say that our entire crew collectively has 10.
It's that stream was a lot.
Yeah, it was.
That really took it out of me. It was so draining. It's terrifying and anxiety central for people to throw large sums of money at us on Twitch. It will never be a thing I'm okay with. And then they're just like, you're gonna C6 this lady, and I'm like, oh god, why is there 800?
Yes, sir.
We maxed out every other character on the banner. So it just kept rolling those guys again and again. It's like, they're already maxed. Please stop.
Yeah. Now Bob has a shitload of dust.
That I can't use it on anything.
But, that event ended. So thank you, everyone, for your support. Bob's really glad that he was able to get his wife in time.
And then she got
exploded.
struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Yes, before the lightning struck her atop the mountain. Because
That
God
was
said
really
no.
great because Bob was desperately climbing this tall pillar, and I'm like, she's about to hit the ground at terminal velocity. You don't have enough stamina to get to the top of this pillar. And Bob's like, I have faith. Then she just barely makes it, and we're celebrating. And then she gets struck by lightning.
and hurled off the peak. And when she hits the ground at terminal velocity post lightning, she just dies.
Yeah, she evaporates.
It was so funny.
Well, Bob, if you get a water character, you'll be able to actually murder people. Because all human enemies in Genshin Impact teleport away when you reduce their health. If they're frozen, they just shatter.
Yeah, there's a weird oversight there. I think it's way funnier when the smoke cloud goes out and then you see their corpse slide off the mountain after it. It's like, yeah, he got away.
Yeah, he used Town Portal.
Yes.
Look at him go. Did you play anything other than the Ayaka simulator?
I started my next rolls for the next character because I'm an idiot. But other than that, I finished Scarlet Nexus.
Well, that's good.
Oh, that's cool. How was it? Did you enjoy the final level?
I don't know how they came to the decision that they should have made that final level.
Oh,
I don't want to say too much about it, but yeah, that was hour and a half of filler and then 2 kind of neat boss fights in it. Why is it like that?
I'm gonna be honest. I liked every like one of the last boss fights, like the last like real one before it becomes like that kind of victory lap every RPG gives you. Where they're kind of like throwing some cool designs at you. I'm like, this makes me feel a little better about this because I'm like, this is cool. That last level.
Yeah, that final stage, I don't know how that got approved. It would have been,
I call that the appetizer sampler.
The game would just be genuinely better if that wasn't there, and it was just like rooms that led you to these boss fights that are neat.
Yeah.
I don't know. This game was already long enough. You did not need to pad it out with this.
Yeah, you definitely did
It
not.
was like an hour and a half of repeated levels. It's insane. Also, it continues the trend of every one of those. What are they? When you talk to your allies,
Yeah, the Bond episode.
yeah, the Bond episodes is written in a way that makes 0 sense with the rest of the game, and it's really frustrating that they're like this.
Yeah, because it's like how you talk to them and stuff.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff that's like makes assumptions about the world that don't match with the tone of the rest of the game at all.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like I hit the final part of the final boss sequence, and I was very interested because the character you don't play as is not present for the final phase.
Right.
And I was like, I am so interested in what they're gonna do for that other character. 10 minutes before I hit it on the second ride, I went, oh no. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to make the other character not present to match.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
come on.
Yes.
I could tell that was what was going to happen immediately.
But for a second, my brain went, what if there's something cool? There wasn't.
Yeah, no.
There wasn't.
And I don't want to spoil the ending, but what they do makes no sense and is really bad. It is clearly like lazy levels of bad.
Yeah, wait till Big Think Game of the Year.
But
All you have to do, audience, is wait 5 months.
that's all.
You wait 5 months, and it'll win a lot of awards.
And if you can't wait 5 months, you can go buy the game.
Yeah,
Those are
I
your
don't
only
recommend
two.
doing that.
Yeah, those are your
Based
only
on
two
what they've
options.
That's
said.
right. Dan, you should play this for Game of the Year.
Nope. No, I shouldn't.
I also played Cotton Reboot because I was like, I really want to play this. I hadn't had time yet.
Okay, cool.
So I finally picked that up. That is $40.
What is Cotton Reboot?
It is the first Cotton game, which Cotton is this series of games where you play as this witch girl flying shooter. It's like a cute 'em up. One of the first ones of those. So you play as like a little witch flying around a fairy world, killing stuff and collecting candy. This is the remake of the very first one. I guess it was originally on the X6800 or 68,000 rather.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, what's
It's a lot worse than the ones I played on the Saturn. Like a lot worse.
Oh, that makes sense. It's the first one.
Yeah, I thought that because there's 2 versions. They give you the old version for that system with no new mechanics or anything. Just looks exactly the same. Then they have the new one where they've like, okay, here's all the new graphics we have for it. And we've added some new systems, but it's not enough to make it actually a good flying shooter. And they charge $40, which is just ludicrous for a single game from 91.
Yes, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I honestly thought that they would be like, oh, well, it's got 2 games. Anything.
Yeah, that would have helped its exposure a shitload.
And this one is like so much worse than those Saturn games. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't give you any tutorial. You know how usually an arcade game will have a like pop up to tell you like the mechanics they make for this game.
Button 1 does this.
Nothing like that. There doesn't seem to be much going on with the way that the flying shooter works, other than power ups that fall from enemies can be shot. And in the original version of the game, they just like they fall to the ground and you shoot them to keep them up, and your shots actually get stopped by them. So you have to collect them or else you can't shoot the enemies behind them. And then the reboot version of the game, you shoot the crystals and it shoots out the other side, but it's hard to tell if that makes it do more or less damage. And there's the only other mechanic going on is you have the magic spells, which are your bombs, and you can charge them to do a different spell with them. But that's it. There's like no more depth to it than that. And they also like put way too many like things on screen for the arranged version, the new one they made for this. Like all the shots are now 5 times bigger than they used to be. It looks like the screen is just completely filled with nonsense on that version. Yeah, it's really rough. I'm sad. I liked Cotton a lot when we played the Saturn one, so that's why I was like $40 is hard to swallow. But I like the series. I want to support it, so I'll pick this up.
Yeah,
and it's really disappointing that they did this. And then you go play that X60.
Yeah, that is
the X60K 68K version, and it feels so weird because it's so old,
right?
And it just feels kind of bad.
I'm sure the emulator's not helping.
Probably not. Yeah, it probably has input lag on everything.
Probably. I don't know.
I really can't recommend this bundle. Apparently, they are still working on a new game.
That's good.
So I'm excited for that. But this honestly made me be like, I need to buy Myster right now so I can play other versions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I haven't played the Genesis or Super Nintendo ones. Those are probably great.
Probably, yeah.
Probably better than this. This is really rough.
I'm gonna double check this
Okay.
this bit of science. But Bob,
What's up?
I swear to you, as the person most sensitive to input latency ever to even touch GigaBoots, I think playing on a Myster with a DualSense is more responsive than a real Super NES.
Okay, that's good.
That's fucking weird.
That is pretty weird, though.
That is incredibly fucking bizarre. That shouldn't... Like, I understand in theory that might be possible, but what? Anyway, yes, the Myster's great. The DualSense is also great. Somebody finally analyzed that shit. That fucking input latency on the DualSense is nuts on the Myster, assuming you have 1000 hertz mode enabled. But yeah, anyway, I switched from the Super NT to the Myster, and that's when I immediately got hit by, wait, this feels better on a dual... What? But anyway, we should stream some more Cotton.
Yeah, I'd love to stream through all those, honestly.
We stream well, think about it this way, Bob.
What's up?
I know you're chafing against that $40 price.
Yeah.
But it's way cheaper than the TurboGrafx 16 Cotton game. The one that's on CD. It's like the rarest video game.
Right, but that's not how it launched.
No, it totally launched at 1,000 or whatever.
Yeah, it was probably like $50 or $60 at the time.
No, I'm sorry, Bob. This is what you have to compare it against. Just like all graphics cards reviews should definitely take into consideration we're in a hell market. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I want to play other Cotton games a lot. This still has really great story things. It has full voice acting, even in the old one. Japanese only, of course. But yeah, it's cool to see that angle of it. Like it's because they fully redrew all of the cutscenes too.
That's cool.
So we get to see the old pixel art version, the new one where it's got like drawings, but they're just trying to draw what was in the old one, which is pretty neat.
Right.
Yeah. And I beat it, both versions, and then all you really unlock is, you can now play, instead of playing as Cotton, you can play as the fairy helper.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's like, that's fine, I guess. But now Cotton's next to you, and you're the tiny thing. It becomes very confusing.
That's fun. I don't know. That's hilarious. Did you play anything else?
No, that was it.
Okay. Hey, Phil.
yes.
You play the video game?
Yeah, I played Neo Twoey through the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same.
Cool.
That game's great. Like, I'm really happy that because I wasn't super into the first one. I knew a lot of people who are, and now I know more people who are. But and I watched them suffer horribly for over a decade. But from Square Enix just going, here's a new countdown. Here's a new countdown. Here's promo art of a character you've never seen before. We're not going to tell you who it is. Oh, this announcement was nothing again. And that just continues for 14 years.
Yeah, they showed that.
years.
They showed that girl in promos for over a decade.
She's really the Usagi of Square Enix.
And then again, 14 years later, they release a game that is probably better than the original. can't really talk about anything beyond the first third of the game without outrageously spoiling everything.
The 13th Sentinel problem.
But yeah, it's really great. I think the combat system they came up with is pretty good. It's not perfect, but it is really good. I think there's a couple parts of it that are padding. There's a couple sections that I would just surgeon scalpel out of the game entirely, because the game's already pretty long, and it has like one of the best gameplay loops ever. So I think a lot of people will end up spending a lot longer than they like. I beat the game at level 68. You don't have to be level 68 to beat this game.
Yeah, no, because since the game only increases your health through level ups, your level's kind of inconsequential, because what you do is you just go to a restaurant and eat something, and it's a permanent stat boost.
Yeah, and then you have to do fights to make your hunger meter empty again so you can eat more food.
Yeah.
This game is almost assuredly going to be financially successful, because they did not spend a huge amount of money on this.
Yeah, you made that statement to me, which was, this costs less than Balan Wonderworld, and I'm like, God.
100%. There's not even a chance that this cost is even as much as Balan Wonderworld.
Yeah, I know, and it's such a fucking fantastic game.
Like this game uses its money and scope better than maybe any game I've ever played. In terms of like, okay, we're gonna be very focused and use context really well to justify that focus, so we can make a really great game with a limited scope and budget. And it sure is a sequel to the original. I feel like any complaint you could say about the original almost applies to this one. Most notably, I remember some people complaining that the original was too handholdy. Like it would give you a puzzle, and then you couldn't progress until the characters figured it out, even if you already figured it out. And this game sure does that a couple times. But yeah, other than that, I can't say any more because of spoilers, but it's real good.
Yeah, I also really, really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. I'm happy how complete it feels, because even after you finished, it has all of the post-game content the original had.
Yeah!
So you have the ability to like go back to old days and pick up the rare pig noise you may have missed. You can refight the bosses. They have some bonus boss stuff and boss rush related things in it. And of course, a bonus day, without spoiling any of the context in it, it's a parody of the game where all the characters act completely differently for fun.
That's really good.
Yes.
I'm really glad that they still had that. I was afraid it wouldn't be there. Because the first game had something like that, but it revolved around a mini game that is not in the new one.
Yeah. Yeah, with this, they're just like, we're just gonna have fun with it. We don't.
Also, I'm gonna apologize to Fret. You are not a Yuri Lowenthal character. You're well written and fully realized.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was really funny when I'm like, you're a dipshit. Why are you one of the best written characters in the game? Oops. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's just real solid.
You guys just wait for the next arc with Keigo and Bleach. It's going to become fully realized.
Of course.
Yeah.
We can't spoil it for Dippin'
I'm sure Persona 5 Arena will make me come around on Yosuke.
Yeah.
I'm sure I won't think he's a piece of shit anymore.
Until someone flamboyant goes around, he's like, no, I gotta hit him. I'm like, hey, calm down. Please.
Did you play anything else, Phil?
No, one more thing. Under no circumstances should you watch the final Neo The World Ends With You trailer.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be nominating that for worst trailer of the year.
It made me mad. The first half, it's 5 minutes long. The first half of it is fine. It goes to great lengths not to show you too much. Then the second half is the entire end of the game and every single reveal in the game.
It is, Bob, this is the worst it's ever been. They included a cutscene where two characters casually talk about the villain's plan.
Great.
I'm like, wow. Even Kojima has restraint.
Stop doing this!
No.
The only thing worse would be a Let's Play.
KZ.
Oh, hello.
Did you play other games?
Sure, I played Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. I did a full co-op run of the campaign of that game. That game's bad. I don't know if you heard about it, that it was bad.
No, I assumed it was an excellent fucking game that went under everyone's radar and no one knew it was bad.
Yeah, some may call it a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't made by some, let me check, guys who made the bad SOCOM games. Huh.
Yes, in fact, it was the people that made the bad SOCOM games. The premise of this is very simple. What if you played as a crack team of people from Umbrella going into Raccoon City and doing things in the background of the first the Resident Evil 2 and 3. Like, they were always there, you just didn't know about it. So the game like opens, and I did this co-op with my friends Carl, Cam, and Alto. We went in, and you start and you're hanging out with Hunk, and he's like, yeah, we gotta go see William Birkin, because they're about to like go try and take his like fucking Krabby Patty secret formula for Resident Evil 2. And he goes into the room where that happens, the door shuts, and we just wait, and we're just waiting around, and then the room like kind of like fucking busts open, and then they do a sequence later where you're running from William Birkin, and he's all like fucking monstered out. And he killed a couple of us. It was kind of bad. Because the game's like, you have to run away from him. The camera will show him running at us, so we have to run backward, but it's a third-person shooter, so you're still constantly aiming, so the movement's bad. So I'm like, I don't know how to dodge this. This game is insane. It's got a bunch of like co-op abilities and class stuff in it. So you like beat a level and you've gained experience, and you use that experience to buy abilities. Like if you're the stealth guy, you get active cloaking. If you're the medic, you hold multiple first aid sprays, because they've made it so that's the only item you can hold that is healing. If you go up to an herb, it's auto use if you touch it, if you have the health for it, which is a bit lame. And you have to level up to use good guns. All the guns are kind of bad because of the clear problem in this game. They have recon military units that are the actual military in the game, as far as I know, that were always in Raccoon City, I've been told. And they're the worst enemy in the game. They show up and they shred you immediately. So we just had moments of turning a corner and there are 4 dudes there and we're dead. And we just have to...
I played Blood on Well Done.
Yeah, they show up and it's like the worst. There's a part in the game where they want you to get EMPs. You collect them and you go into this room and you go up to a terminal and it'll lift a device that you're going to throw an EMP on that I guess Nikolai from Resident Evil 3 wants to stop you from doing because he's also here. And you hit the button to activate it that's going to make it lift up. The second you hit it, a door busts open and they're already shooting you. So it just became this thing of you hold near the button, we get in position, and we lob grenades the second we're done counting down. And it kind of just becomes that nightmare. Sometimes we have to go, all right, just abandon us, run if you can, and maybe they'll let us do the objective. But sometimes they're like, no, everyone has to survive. The things they do to make you have like importance in the Resident Evil plot's real funny, where they're like, yeah, Nemesis is malfunctioning. You're gonna have to go and get like samples of the virus and then inject him with it so that he can go back to his programming of killing STARS agents for Resident Evil 3 to happen. So you like have to get injections from a Mr. X tyrant, and then you have to fight Nemesis. And then when he's done, they're like, all right, he's back to normal. That's good. And then they have a bunch of those where you run into literally every like main set piece that they could fit in that specific universe. And I'm like, this is really, really dumb. Especially when they're like, fight 2 Mr. X's. This door won't open until you've killed them. And I'm like, what? Why? This is insane. And then they like really try to sync it up to the end of Resident Evil 2. Where it's like, oh no, this Mr. X fell in the lava, then jumps out, and then becomes like the fire mode one. And then you beat it up, and I assume it leaves to go fight Leon. Because it needs to for Resident Evil 2. And then you do your escape, and then it's like, all right, you gotta go fight Leon S. Kennedy and choose whether to kill or let him live. And it's a vote your whole team does, and depending on who votes yes or no, will determine how the game ends, because the first time we all went kill and it failed, and I'm like, I guess we'll just check out the other one. I'm the only one who voted that, and they're like, okay, KZ and Leon have to fight the rest of my team. And the rest of my team brutally killed me, and they're like, all right, you beat the game. And then the game was over, and we're like, this is great, because when we chose to kill him, it added a bunch of recon people that we had to fight, and it was really hard, and we died. Because this game's insane, because you'll fight zombies in this, and if they bite you, you can have a chance to become infected, which means you have 15 seconds to be given Zombrex, or whatever their equivalent is, to undo it, which you shouldn't have at this point in the Resident Evil story. Or you become a zombie, and then you're just AI controlled for a few seconds, then you can hurt your teammates until your head inexplicably explodes. So it just becomes this nightmare. Also, killing zombies, they get back up not too long after, as far as I can tell, because Crimson Heads are in this game, and they are insane. So they just brought that back from Remake.
It's a really weird mechanic to put in a third-person shooter.
Yeah, they're like, okay, sometimes zombies will drop the blue can, and then you can spray, and it's like proximity, like RE5 and 6. So if someone's near you, you get the effects of it. So it just becomes this thing of run over here so I can undo the zombie effects before they fully take hold. Or when we didn't do that, we would just shoot someone in the head. And so it's like, sorry, you're going to fuck me over otherwise. And yeah, it was really bad. It was like an impressively bad. But if you took out the recon soldiers and like maybe made the story less stupid of you failed to kill Leon S. Kennedy, we're abandoning you, and we're dropping like hunter units on giant metal cans with helicopters, where they drop the giant metal cylinder onto the ground and it opens up and they're just releasing them into the city. And they're like, you have to deal with this. We've cut you off. Until you progress enough, they're like, oh, okay, you're back. Go kill Leon again. The story is so nonsensical with what they want to do across 7 missions that took 4.5 hours. It's impressive. But if it was just focused on the zombie stuff and those enemy types, it would at least be like acceptable to play through, because otherwise it just felt way too hard. But surprisingly, that was not the worst game I played this week.
Oh, strange.
Yeah, I know. I played Attacking the Power of Juju this week.
I'm holding an L. I think I said that would be a 6 at lowest, probably, last week.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't conceive of it being that bad. I'm sorry.
I couldn't have conceived of it either.
That game I couldn't see the horror from footage of that game.
Yeah, you at least with Belen, you came in for a minute before disgusted. You were in my chat for about a minute talking before you're like, I gotta go. This is the worst.
Like, the first thing I saw, because I waited a long time, I was busy that day. And then I come in, and Casey's doing like Donkey Kong 64 shit, where it's like, here's a row of platforms ascending in height. You have to use your high jump to get up each one.
So Attack the Power of Juju, you're a part of the Poopanunu tribe, because that has poo-poo in its name, and that's funny. And this is a Nickelodeon IP. That they did not make the show until 4 years after the first game. And in this, there was like an evil wizard one and 2 henchmen that are turning all the tribesmen into sheep. And there's like a storied hero voiced by Patrick Warburton that's supposed to solve everything, but you know that he is a dipshit and that you're the real hero. Voiced by Max Goof from fucking Goof Troop or whatever, or the Goofy movies. And you go on this adventure to like bring back the real hero, which is the crux of this, despite the fact that he does not need to be in the story. So 90% of the story does not matter, because you know that you're going to be revealed to be the hero because you do the things he was supposed to do in their prophecy. And this includes adventuring around. The first thing they have you do, because I was trying to figure out how this works as a 3D platformer in the template of collect the Power Star / Jiggy, get the money collectible, unlock levels, that general thing. I couldn't figure it out for 45 minutes. I was just kind of going into levels and doing things. And the first thing they want you to do is to get like plants. And the plants are supposed to like not make the hero a sheep anymore. And the plants only came from one boss fight they recycled 12 times.
Wow.
This boss fight is a plant with the most insane hitboxes I've ever seen. The way it reacted to hits
I saw that.
The way it reacted to hits was insane. Where I couldn't tell what a good hit was or what a critical hit was that kept happening. And then eventually we got the epic version of it where it would shoot out a vine that's like 6 feet, and then it would spin like it's a clock. Like that Mario Party minigame where you're trying to jump over the clock hands that are going really fast. And because this game's so awful, I would die, then I would fall down. Then the swinging vines would hit me and shoot me into the air 6 feet. I would land and they'd do it again. And you just see me bouncing while dead for like 8 seconds before the game fades out. This happened over and over. Now, Bob, this is so broken, they knew it was broken. And I know they knew it was broken because they did one thing.
Yeah.
Every time I was revived, I was maybe about 15 feet away from the boss because there's good auto-saving. Boss's health never moved. So it's like I beat it. Or I got a third of the way through it. I died. Health bar stayed the same. So I just ran at it and kept going.
Oh, wow. One of those.
Yeah. So they knew it was a problem. So you could just keep hitting your head against it. So someone's like, you just beat that boss. I'm like, yeah, after 13 deaths of just running in this war of attrition against this awful enemy. And they make you do that at least 9 times. They have 12 of them, but you only need 9. I beat this. This is the best part of the game, by the way. Because at that point, they're like, all right, you've restored him. You've restored our hero, but he's like flattened because he got like trampled. So you need to like get him inflated, but he's dead. So you need to like get his soul. And then you need to get 100 Yorbles. These are a collectible that is somewhat scarce, but has the energy of notes in, say, Banjo or coins in Mario. And they said, you've been through 4 levels so far. We have now repopulated them with a collectible. Go back to those levels and get stuff. And also do more levels. And just get orbs. It doesn't have that feeling of getting a power star or like a moon in Mario. Because they're just randomly around the map. That you just find. So there's not like this moment of, like, I finished a section. It's just they're there. So it doesn't really feel satisfying at all. And they want you to get 100 of these.
Great.
Yeah. Eventually, we just kind of we cheated through the last like 25 of them because it was getting real rough. It was getting really rough, especially when we hit a level that was their snowboarding minigame that works like an extreme sports game from the aughts. Like it has like the trick score thing where it's like you did this plus this plus this and a 540 melon. Here's your score. It gives you a special meter that lets you go turbo fast. And they put 18 Yorbles in random ice cubes on this downhill map.
Fuck off.
Yes. And people are like, you don't have to do this, Casey. You can go to something else. And then I said, at what point did you think that I thought this is the worst part of the game? This controls and feels better than the actual game. So of course that's why I'm still here. That was rough for people to get over. Theo was like describing that I was doing the big jump. It's because your first platforming and power up in the game is a pole you can switch to that lets you pole vault. It doesn't feel good because it's a pole vault for a high jump. It's not great. 80% through the game, they give you the champion's like pendant that makes it so that your run and jump feel good, fast and high. But only at full health.
Real fucking Star Tropics energy on that.
Yeah, I was like, this is like some Master Sword shoots a beam shit. And that didn't feel good.
Except the core gameplay mechanic.
Yeah. You have a bunch of juju magic you get in this game that you use your resource on. The only one I ended up liking, aside from the heal one, is the compass. Because it tells you which direction a thing is at. Because you have a feather on your head. And you hit that button, it takes 5 charges. And it goes, boom. And it just makes the feather point in that direction. And I'm like, this is hilarious. This is the only thing I like in this entire game. Because then I could actually have a general idea of where I was going. Except the times it didn't work. And that was rough. They like stuffed this dude inside a balloon. And then that was the part where Field tapped out at one point. It was not great. Generally just every platforming challenge was bad. There's a section where they want you to escort 4 mummies across the longest section ever, where it's like you're slowly walking them through 18 obstacles 4 times just to open one area. The worst thing that kind of broke me is there's a chicken temple where they're like, you go to a central area and you gotta get a golden egg and crack it on a frying pan 4 times to elevate to the next area. to crack 4 more eggs to do it again. Each one has a long puzzle. The mechanic here is that a magical chicken lays a golden egg. You pick it up and you run it back to that area while trying to avoid guards that will hit you, and basically anything will make you lose whatever you're holding universally across the game for everything you pick up. Even grabbing a ledge. So even platforming is scary. What if I magnetic cling to this ledge and shatter it? But to add on to it, there are a lot of chickens everywhere the second you grab it, and they'll run into you and make it crack. So it becomes this nightmare of doing that, hitting timed switches to get to certain places quickly. And then toward the end, they're like, okay, what you need to do is there's a gap to get to this button, and a chicken needs to stand here to keep the door open. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit this chicken, and it's going to move it 2 inches. Take it all the way up 4 ramps, around an entire room, through a guard that wants to hit you, to get it onto a button. This puzzle takes 5 minutes, and then you just have to do it over and over again. I was gone. This is the worst game I played this year by far, because it's just kind of like confounding. It's like you played half of Banjo-Kazooie, and then you suddenly see a door that's like, this is the note door, and you're like, what's a note? It's what we've repopulated in every level. Go get them again now. We didn't go back to level 1 and start collecting notes. It's a new thing we've decided that the game will have now. And I'm like, excuse me? But how many do I need? 750. That sounds like 80% of the whole game. They're like, yes.
Okay, KZ.
Yes.
I think now, this exact moment is a really good time to bring it up.
Sure.
How long was the how long to beat time estimate?
6.5 hours.
How long was your stream beating this?
Okay, so context here. 1, they wanted me to have 100 of those Yorbles. Once I hit 75, because the chat overwhelmingly told me I could, I cheated the rest of those. I also cheated through not doing the final 2 dungeons they did. It still took me 12.5 hours.
Nightmare.
I've never seen, usually if it's a bad game, people are like, no, you got to keep going through it. And I'm like, I will do that for you. It is only when it's an overwhelming, did we hit 75+% of people going yes, that I go, uh-huh. And I also did the thing to make sure that people couldn't vote more than once or pay bits to vote. And they're like, no, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not often I get people apologizing to me over an experience. And people are like, he had to leave so many times. And I was like, no, I only took a break maybe 3 times because this room got really hot. And that wasn't great. But that was rough. And the final boss is like, this boss is 4.5 to 5 minutes long and there's no checkpoint. Also, it barely explains what to do in it at all. They're like, I don't know, guess. Listen to this voice cue. What, you couldn't hear it over every sound effect peaking their microphones? But I finished it. That is an impressively bad platformer. I never want to experience that shit again. I will probably play Attack 2 in a couple of months.
Are you kidding me?
God.
I don't know. We got to pay the bill somehow.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe it'll be better. Maybe they just learned from the
They
mistake.
told me that all the levels in that are linear, Bob, but somehow still make no sense.
Great.
People assure me, no, Attack 2's the good one.
Just like
Yeah, sure.
Ninja Theory
Fucking
game we played
sure.
is the good one.
Yeah, exactly. Every Ninja Theory game we played in the last week was the good one.
Again, I made that discovery that you're like, oh man, these rare games, they're so rough. And as it turns out, that's top shelf. And then you dig into literally any other 3D platformer that is not like a flagship console one. And you're like, oh my God, what were they doing over here?
I'm still gonna hold out hope that Ty the Tasmanian Tiger is actually pretty good.
Maybe I should just, yeah, I gotta play other things made by the TAC devs like Dragon Ball Z Sagas.
Oh.
They did real good.
No, you don't. I tried.
Yeah, they did some real good stuff over there. Maybe I get Parsec set up and be like, hey, Phil, you want to co-op Dragon Ball Z Sagas with me?
No, never again.
Oh God, again?
I tried it once. That was a rental.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. I had planned on playing through Vampire Rain this week, probably on the Wednesday, but the how long to beat listed 11 hours, and I'm like, after TAC, this might be 20 hours. So I abstained from doing it until the weekend, which would be after this comes out. But
Okay, Casey's comment on other 3D platformers made me think of iNinja because I remember enjoying that game. And I look it up, and that's directed by Don Bluth.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean?
No way. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right?
Don fucking Bluth. Fuck you. What?
That's what it says. What the fuck?
That's weird.
It's on the Wikipedia.
yeah, I'm learning so much about other platformers that are not rare or top shelf Nintendo IPs, and going, wow, there are bars that no one has explored since they released that I'm just finding. Like how next month I'll be playing Looney Tunes Back in Action, the movie game.
Come on, that's a movie game. That's not even fair. You can't be like, this was the standard. No.
This was the standard, Bob. I'm going to have to pretend it.
I played a Nickelodeon game and a movie game.
This was the standard, he said, crawling into the Sesame Street game catalog.
What's wrong? People trying to get me to play Fairly Odd Parents breaking the rules.
Yeah, you have apparently bad influences trying to get you to play
I know. They're trying to get me to play Illbleed on the Dreamcast.
At least that's a video game,
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say Illbleed's a good step above every other name we've said so far, other than iNinja. I don't know. It could have Rockadoodle.
You should play Rugrats: The Search for Reptar on the PS1, a game I was given as a child and have beaten like 18 times.
You know, I sat here and I was like, you know, if there's enough time after the stream where I'm going to beat MC Kids or Mick Kids, I may play the Tiny 2 games on the NES. That seems a little questionable. That game's really hard and maybe not the greatest platformer. And then I just went through this conversation going, man, it's a lot better than all this shit.
Right?
Yeah, I know,
See,
right?
I have history with the NES Tiny Toons and the Super Nintendo Tiny Toons.
I only ever saw the Super Nintendo Tiny Toons. I never got to play it. I need to check that out.
It's insanely hard.
Yeah.
It's like most licensed games on the SNES were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep exploring some interesting games, since a lot of people would get mad at me saying you should play bad games. GigaBoots plays bad games. I'm like, that's not necessarily my fault that they made a career out of it.
We're explorers. Thank you.
Yeah, they're explorers. Like they have discovered games that were great, like Knack 2, after being like, Knack 1 is a coma fantasy.
Yep.
And Cameo, which who saw that coming? No one.
Yep. My favorite thing is people going, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win in the great debate between TAC 1 and Sonic Chronicles? I'm like, both have their own qualities.
I assume TAC doesn't have a broken sound font for a soundtrack. It just has 5 notes on the piano with insane amounts of reverb.
90 minutes of reverb, 11-second loop. I'm like, this is the worst it's ever been. One game's clinically like unfinished. The other one shouldn't have been finished.
Every single part of Sonic Chronicles is bad. Like every single aspect. The fact KZ talked about a snowboarding minigame that felt good at all makes me say Sonic Chronicles has to be worse.
Okay, I need to say you're giving it high praise based on what I said. I was comparing it,
Dude,
to the gameplay.
Dude, as someone who's seen both of these games, there's no part of Sonic Chronicles that looks as good as that snowboarding part.
That is true. That is true.
It's like, it's not fair to compare anything to the Sonic RPG, because it's like, hey, this is my fan game. I made an HTML5. It's designed for Chromebooks. That's the energy that game has.
I would rather play any Sonic fan game I have ever seen.
Same. Every Sonic fan game I've ever played is so much more professional and done than that fucking RPG.
Yeah,
That shit's unreal.
Yeah, I ended up giving TAC a 1 in my media thread. I gave Balana 2. I've specifically designed this to give space because I feel like Vampire Ring could get a 0. Everywhere I've heard either goes, I've never heard of it, or it's the worst video game of all time.
See, this is the thing, though. Me and Bob, as brave explorers, have a new range of experiences. So now I'm like, Vampire Ring's probably better than TAC. These people are cowards.
Yeah, who knows? However, it is a 7th gen video game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's where the roughest shit comes from, which is why when Hellblade seems like all the trappings of 7th gen and none of the ambition, you just go, okay.
Yeah, and it's a 7th gen game, and it's the PS3 re-release of an Xbox 360 zombie game.
Yep.
That apparently has Solid Snake in it. Or a dude who looks
but
like
not
him.
really.
But not really.
But he's Sam Fisher adjacent.
We have Sam Fisher at home. He fights a zombie.
It's like having Solid Snake at home.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Casey, what are you gonna do if Vampire Reign's a stealth game?
I will continue to play it. By the way, I assumed it was. I assumed that game is... We have our AAA stealth game against zombies at home. That's what my assumption has been since the cover. Because it shows Solid Snake and bad-looking, like, vampire zombies in the back. So that's my assumption. But that's all I played this week.
Oh, okay. So I guess we should move on to news?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Nope.
Wait.
Huh?
Our house is being repossessed. Thank the Podlords.
Oh, fuck. We better thank these Podlords. Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown, Dobo Muito Real, Red Blaze 27, Weapons Grade Juica Frost, Suzu Shiro, Emperor Zero, Shibuya Gato, Caged deathmatch between Sonic Chronicles and Tak for the title of Worst Old Game BTD Crew played in 2021.
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you for the cover of Ultimate Muscle Volume, I think 20, where Kid Muscle is fighting Ashura Man.
Man, Columbo is good right out of the gate, isn't it? Yes, it is. It only gets better, like, really quickly. Episode 2 is so much better than 1, it's nuts. As in, the first actual episode, not Prescription Murder.
Okay.
Yeah, Prescription Murder is not great. But after that...
Prescription Murder is a little unhinged because Columbo yells at people. It's kind of nuts. Anyways, 101 Shades of Ayaka video game.
Yeah!
Nice shades.
Congrats on rolling Ayaka, Bob.
No!
Yes!
No!
Yes! Jesus.
See the fact that he like stretched the realistic skin tone across the whole face is really what's ruining me.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah. I looked in that Podlord chat and I saw a spoiler thing for Gary going, "This is the worst." I was like, uh-oh. I'm not gonna click this.
WTF Spider-Man. Nose.
Yeah, it's real rough. That's the leader of the Poopanunus. Voiced by Monsoon from Metal Gear Rising and Raymundo from Rocket Power.
Modern Mage. Looking forward to when Chugging Bleach covers the new one-shot in 5 years.
Kubo always wins.
Hopefully it'll just be at the end of the 1,000-Year Blood War anime.
DFW 3K. Muckbun. Ayaka Video Games is the true wielder of the Yamato.
It's barely in frame, Jesus.
Yeah, the storm that is approaching
kinda,
killed
yeah.
her.
Kristen. Genshin Impact presents the self-inflicted billion-dollar Tonberry.
Wow, you're so shocked.
Oh my god, look at it.
Actually, that's one of the less horrifying Tonberries, if we're being honest.
She's so beautiful, you can almost fall in love with her.
Stop that.
Ayaka Video Games versus new Raido Kuzunoha Switch Edition.
Oh yeah, fucking new Raido Kuzunoha is pretty good.
Santi Kunai has returned to being a Podlord. Welcome
back
to the stage of history.
Yes.
Tired, crusty adult Adam Admar. Kyle Bjork. Hello, Dan GigaBoots. This is the same thing as last week, so I'm not reading it.
Okay.
It's a giant paragraph.
Bye, Hal.
Zilter. VR is the coolest and weirdest. The future is strange. Iron Aggro. Blig de Blue. Schlig is Boo. Never forget the Balan Wonder Swan.
Never forget, good lord, my community is really good at modding.
Monster Hunter, Ryzen and Raiden. don't listen to that other podlord. Fear Street whips ass. Just look at this dude.
Holy shit!
Oh no, my gotcha pulls came to life. Theme for 2022, 4K Cats. He's back.
Yo, it's Paul Penis.
Paul Penis.
Put him on a pog.
Cooper Tank. Newlyweds go hiking, then tragedy ensues.
Oh no!
God.
You found a card for Banie's Emotorium. She's trapped just like Ronald.
No, not McKids.
Banie's just like, meow. I'm like, no.
McBanny.
I can't find these 3 cards. They put them in really horrible places. There's instant death traps all around them.
Zastader. Whoa, a new part for fans to spoil Be Upon Ye.
Oh no! Here it comes. So much drip on this Jotaro.
I fucking love background Eminem.
Yes.
It's like, is that a new stand? Is Eminem a stand?
Might be. A rat. Again.
Oh, okay.
Same rat.
Is it a powerful rat?
It's the same rat as last time. It's a good rat. It's a good rat.
It's like a 7.
Yeah. Indigo Sykes. Alatos Dianagenis promises to work on his TEFL classes this week. Okay.
Careful.
I won't report you to the SPCA if you give me a Banny status report. Banny wasn't in the Sunshine Room, and Banny wanted back out. So we edited out a bit in the podcast where I grabbed Banny, ran her to the bedroom, and closed the door.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Morning, y'all.
Oh.
BN12. Evil Lucario. Remember to sign up for the Collections Insider program to be invited to the Collections technical preview. A raccoon that wants you to wail for her.
That's a really good one, actually.
I was so drained from work last week, I forgot to change the name, and thus you were stuck with a bad joke. I'm sorry.
That's real rough.
Oh, hey, the Patreon's working correctly. And aspiring Bamani ambassador, Shinji16. Thank you very much to our podlord.
Thank you.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords. And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For $5 a month, you get many benefits such as access to the patron-exclusive Discord, early access to Chugging Bleach and Mondo Cool, our 2 anime review podcasts, a Patreon-exclusive monthly show where patrons get to vote and have input on what horrible or good thing we watch, and extended armchair dev pitches and gamer premonitions where those shows are structured cruelly, so you get to actually hear everything we came up with instead of only some of it. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you don't have any money, you can always help by telling your friends. And if you don't have any friends, you can improve yourself until you acquire some and then tell them about it.
And if your friends don't like our stuff, you can make new friends as well.
Yeah. Those are what we call duds.
God.
What's wrong, Bob?
Nothing.
Nothing weird in anything that was just said. Well, let's go ahead and start with the Blizzard stuff. So we don't have to end on it. Hey, Casey, your news note here is actually incomplete. Can I cover the full thing?
Go ahead, buddy.
Diablo 4 director Luis Barriga, lead level designer Jesse McCree, and World of Warcraft designer Jonathan LeCraft have reportedly been let go amid the ongoing allegations of harassment and abusive culture at Blizzard.
They're gonna have to change McCree's fucking name because he was named after that dipshit.
He was
fuck.
Jesse McCree. What do you do?
Oh, no.
What do you do? You know, you made jokes about May being killed. McCree might die and not be in 2.
Overwatch 2 featuring no hot cowboys.
No, it's McCree's brother, Jeff. It looks identical.
Jeff McGaw.
It's like fucking Beer Fest.
Jesus.
I gotta reveal, the CG trailer reveals that his name was never Jesse McCree.
It wasn't?
No, he's also 12 years old.
Nice.
Yeah, they've been doing quarterly updates for Diablo 4, and I'm like, this this game looks okay.
It looked neat.
And now it's in hell.
Yeah, now
Literally.
it's like, oh, fuck. Well, I'm going to stop looking forward to that coming out as a defense mechanism.
Yeah, that's fair.
It may just drop off entirely. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
Something we didn't get to cover in time for last week because it happened the day after we recorded. The Intellivision Amico has been delayed for a third time.
Yeah!
There we go.
According to the official email, the troubled system will now be delivered to backers, quote, by the end of the year. Thank you, Pat Contry, for the tweet I just read. I retweeted and I was like, when did that happen? Did that happen after last big thing? Scrolls back. Yes. Yes, it did by
we did
one
not make
day.
fun of Tommy Tallarico last week, so it had to.
Tragic. Well, we're making up for it this time. Hey, Bob, you know who did QA on Mick Kids?
Was it Tommy Tallarico?
It was.
What?
Whoa.
That's
How did you find a link?
That's just what I do. Connect the dots. Bob, did you know Mick Kids was made by Inti Creates? Okay, anyways.
Shut the fuck up. What?
I'm just kidding. Let's move on, KZ. What other news do you have for us?
Okay, there were leaks for the new Call of Duty for this year. It's going to be called Call of Duty Vanguard.
That is a terrible fucking name. I did not read this news.
It's called Call of Duty Vanguard. It's going to be a World War II game. Man, Activision really needed a good Call of Duty to distract people, and this will not be it.
COD 2021 Crucible.
Wasn't there another Call of Duty called Vanguard on the PS2?
That's fucking nuts. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vanguard is in the title of a Call of Duty game on the PS2. I'll look that up real quick. That's fucking...
Why?
What a terrible
Why would they
fucking
give
name.
a shit? They already just went Modern Warfare again.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
a World War II game. We're so done.
Yeah, like,
we're so done.
I can't believe they had another World War II game in production. How'd that happen? I
They're
don't get
so
it.
stupid.
Like, those are the ones that keep selling bad because everyone is tired of it.
Yeah, we were tired of that shit 15 years ago.
Maybe they'll bring it back and it'll be like, okay, the story is Inglourious Bastards, but the leader is Adler.
Yeah, I'm looking here. It was leaked images for the bundles they're doing. Standard, cross-gen, and ultimate. So it's going to be the same setup that they did last year.
Cool. The probability that they'll earn that next gen tax is so fucking low, but whatever. Maybe I'll give it a chance.
It turns out its adaptive triggers on this game are just really bad.
Could you imagine they accidentally fucked that up? It's like, dude, you did this right last year.
Right?
Jesus Christ. Any other news, KZ?
Let's see. Microsoft will be holding an Xbox show during Gamescom. That'll be on the 24th at 10 a.m. Pacific. Going to be showing off video games.
That's noon here? Is that right?
That'd be noon here. So I imagine that a real beta for Halo Infinite shall appear there. Maybe like a solidified date if it's actually going to hit holiday.
Yeah, if that shit's actually going to ship this year like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might show us like something of the single player that's real.
It's something that is not a cutscene this time.
That would be fantastic. For anyone who's not keeping track, that is the Tuesday after this big thing comes out, as in a week and after. So 8 days after big thing coming out.
Yes.
So get ready for that.
Rapidly approaching.
Yeah, I am excited for us to watch a show of the people showing off games.
I just hope it's that. Here's my thing, right? Everyone's like, I wish Sony would have a show. And I'm like, Sony doesn't have anything to show, so it's okay that they don't have a show. Microsoft will show nothing. They're very good at that. They've spent millions of dollars on CG countless times to show nothing.
You're right.
So that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch that show. I'm not excited. That implies a positive anticipation.
But Dan, there could be third parties there that actually have a game.
Yeah. My thing here is that they showed so many CG trailers at E3. They can't show them again.
Well, they can make new ones.
Yeah, they could make new ones. Some of those are so far out that they don't need to make, like that Arcane game that's like 4-player vampire or whatever.
Right, we'll get new CG trailers for the CG trailers had last year. So Fable CG trailer.
Yeah, see, they can do that, but they can also like show third-party games. Though I have more faith in PlayStation for those because Sony seems to have bought every appealing video game on timed exclusivity. So again, I still have to wait for them to see something like Final Fantasy 16.
It's really weird that we saw like, hey, Sony's working with developers to get exclusives to their platform that they're funding the development of. And then it's like, how's Microsoft going to deal with this? And then 6 months of this news cycles pass, and it's like they bought Bethesda.
That's
Like,
it. So they didn't
that's-
have those.
That's an interesting dynamic. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to see any of Starfield that looks like a game.
No, I feel like we don't see Starfield again in any capacity till like June.
Until
till next
exactly,
E3.
until next fucking E3. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I expect too. But
And then people pretended had a really like fast cycle of like release to showing it again.
yes, because people have bad attention spans.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been more than 6 weeks, right?
I hope they show another CG thing, and then Todd Howard has to be like, yeah, our CG trailer showed trees. Those won't be in the game, like he did with ladders.
God.
Okay, well, I'm happy to watch that conference once it happens on Tuesday the 24th. KZ, did you have any other news?
Okay, so this started from like a month ago, where one of the voice actors for Xenoblade, this is Melia from the first game, was being interviewed by a random YouTuber about like her roles and stuff, and she was like, "Yeah, it feels really good to be back into these games because when she wasn't really a big actress when she got the role. Now she's a bit bigger in Europe." She's like, "Yeah, and they're making another one of those," and people went, "What? What do you mean they're making another one of those?" And they're like actually making the 3. Then real sources came out and said, "Yeah, and it's almost done also. And the only reason you don't know about it yet is because of the pandemic, but they may still announce it this year. It's coming out next year, and it's just Xenoblade Chronicles 3." And I was like, "What?" And wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, if
And
they
then,
go back to having Melia and have like the more of the style of the first game, I'd be excited.
They said it was actually going to have like a mix of characters from like both games, I guess. But I don't know how that's possible necessarily, but I'm excited to see how they would try that.
And then Melia's voice actress looks up into the sky, and Daniel Southworth is looking down, smiling at her.
He's the fucking Goku.
Yeah, I know. I love when this shit happens so much.
I sure hope there's a fucking Switch Pro coming again. Once again, reiterating this, considering the report says we want to have more stuff on screen at once this time.
Yeah, they
my
literally
God.
said the highlight is this will have more characters on the screen than ever before. And I was like, whatever, dude. This is the one time I'm like, yeah, I'll slum. It's not going to be on anything else anyway.
Yeah,
That's scary. To be like, we need to have more characters on screen in
I'm
combat
like-
and get Star Ocean 5 flashbacks.
And I'm like, the way they're going to do this is very simple because they have to make it work on the normal Switch. What they will simply do is anytime there's more people, the room is just smaller than usual or just has walls. And it will not happen in an open field because then the game will brick. But whatever, they're like the workhorses of Nintendo at this point since they have assisted on Breath of the Wild 1 and the sequel and shipped Xenoblade 2 and shipped a remaster. Their output is faster than like Nintendo's core studios at this point.
Yeah, they're definitely fast at doing that content thing. That is for fucking sure. I agree with you. I don't think anyone else is putting out as much as them.
and I think between Xenoblade 1 and 2, I think they have given me like 290 or 300 hours worth of game. If I don't even count Breath of the Wild.
Jeez.
So I'm like, all right, do another one of those, please. God, I'm very excited. They've been like once every 2 years, it feels like, or almost. Some close to that. They're putting out something.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit faster than that actually on average. But
yeah, it felt like a miracle that they got Xenoblade 2 out in that first year, which it suffered for because some parts of that are just like came in incredibly hot. But then Xenoblade 1 was a lot better in a lot of areas in terms of like quality of life and how they did it. So I'm really, really excited to see what a third one would do with that. And also the fact that they probably won't have gacha mechanics as a core part of the game's design. So that'll really help.
Cool.
That's it for me, though.
We're going to go to Bob. Bob, news me.
Jeff Keighley is also doing an event that same week.
You want to retake that?
Jeff Keighley is also
we
doing
go.
an event that same week.
No, his name is Geoff.
Okay.
Somebody spelled it like normal Jeff in the Discord, and I said no.
His
Timed
name
out.
is Geoff Grubb.
No, this guy knows things.
Yeah, you're right.
He actually has insider sources.
He's someone I
Yes.
respect.
So opening night live, huh?
The opening night live, the 25th, the day after the Xbox thing. So I'm like, oh man, is he going to have all the actual stuff?
Didn't he do that last year? Didn't he have some hot exclusive that I was just like, yeah, and then those other guys did their show and it was bad.
Last year, opening night live was really dire. That was like one of our worst
It
shows.
was.
Yeah,
It was
and,
one of our worst shows, yes.
I wanted to do a mini gamer premonitions thing on here. I need you to predict some awkward thing that will happen in this show on the level of that Ratchet launch window moment.
Oh, yeah, sure. Here, I got this.
Sure.
Horizon Forbidden West, that's coming out by the end of this year, right? Nods, says nothing.
Bob,
No.
Bob, do you have anything?
That's,
Literally what I said.
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
I can't.
God damn it. Also, yeah, that was probably one of the worst shows because that had the WoW motion comic trailer.
Yeah, no, that was a really, really rough show.
But I think Jeff has been doing good this year. Like Elden Ring, he got the big announcement for that.
He was
Yeah.
about to nut on stage that he got that.
We got different studios being announced there. That was a kind of fun show last time. So I'm hopeful that it's on the upswing again. He hasn't been doing weird little events all summer.
Yeah, I was going to
all
say,
that could-
Yes,
he
thank
literally,
God.
he literally,
I'm so happy.
he literally apologized for last year.
yeah. So I think there's a good chance of this being good.
Yeah, I think he gets it. Now,
And
Bob,
I don't think there's any danger of something from Activision Blizzard being here. I think he might have to excise that for other reasons.
Here's our Overwatch 2 trailer.
oh my God. Okay, hey, Bob,
yeah.
this next bit of news,
Yeah.
I let you have that. I retweeted that and I was like, I'm not going to write it in, so Bob gets to have it. Bob, go ahead.
El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. It's coming to PC September 1st.
Is
Almost
this-
here, guys.
Is
Late.
this real or does the director say no?
He hasn't said no yet. Not that I've seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will absolutely play this game on a stream at some point.
I'm very excited.
I'm incredible.
I'd be willing to give it another chance, maybe being at a higher fidelity and not with PS3 latency on a LCD when that game came out. Your display will help it.
And also, like, jack shit for load times, because we're going to be playing on an SSD no matter what we play on.
Yeah.
So this will be nice. I'm very excited for this. For people who don't know, this game is some hilarious retelling of biblical things. It's hilarious in as much as, what if they all wore designer jeans?
Yeah, all the characters designed, I
Yo!
believe, by the same dude who designed No More Heroes characters. And it's super apparent on Satan. It's just like, you look a lot like Travis, but a lot trendier.
Holy
he
shit.
looks like slightly more in vogue. Like if Satan from SMT was slightly more in vogue.
The Bible, but drip.
Yes.
So be excited. It's also supposedly an action game, but sometimes it becomes a 2D platformer action game, even though it's a fully 3D game.
It's also got Nephilim, just like DMC the DMC.
It's true.
Oh God.
What a good comparison point. Thank you, Bob.
Thumbs up.
So I'm really excited to play that game again. That was super interesting when it came out.
Yes. Hopefully it's not $60.
Hopefully
On
not.
PC.
It really shouldn't be. It's
It should have
Come
been
on.
then either.
2010 or something.
Yeah.
Also, next week, I guess the week that this big thing is coming out, rather,
Yeah.
we're getting a demo for Tales of Arrive. Comes on Tales of Arise, not Arrive.
It arrives.
It comes out August 18th. I'm super hyped. I want to play Tales real bad.
Yes, I'm also in that space. They put up some preview videos of people like playing it, and I went, this dude did a 26-hit combo and air juggled. I really want to play this bad.
Yeah, I need this thing to be playable. I want to see it in person and I want to hear Bob's take on it.
And thank God it comes out Wednesday, not Thursday.
Not Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a bit of time for me to massage it into my veins.
And my final piece of news, we got to see Face of Dan's Chant.
I assume it's Don Shant.
Dan's Chant.
Hereafter.
Hereafter. This is a Chinese developed game. It's a action RPG, like open world sort of thing, is from what they've said. They've been like 12 minutes of gameplay. This looks really cool. He has, like, you know, in Kung Fu movies when they run up bamboo branches and stuff and float in trees? It's got all that. And it's the most exciting looking version of that I've ever seen in a game. I don't think any game has pulled it off looking like this, where he just, like, is able to run straight up the bamboo, stand on the top of it, and, like, jump to another one. And then you can cut the bamboo down and kick it at enemies.
Oh, fuck you. This is awesome.
Okay, I'm looking at like a sequence of like the bamboo bridge getting like cut and you're jumping to different parts and the vine's like swinging him to parts. And I'm like, man, they need to chill out over there.
This is cool as hell.
I feel like every couple of months we're like, here's another action game here that looks better than 80% of releases.
Funny because China is really making sure Bob is well fed on action games.
Yeah, no, it's been so long.
While so many people are like, oh, xenophobic bullshit goes here, Bob's just like, oh, thank God some nation out there fucking respects action games.
And then the Chinese government's like, we hate video games. They're fucking opium of the mind.
That's true.
Which is something they said this
And
week.
and then all their companies are like, oh God, we better sell our games to the white people.
yeah, and I'm watching this sequence and I'm like, this looks so fucking cool.
Yeah, it does.
This certainly looks a lot higher rent than the couple of translated Chinese games I bought on Steam.
Yes, there's definitely that one tier that's already out, but these ones that are on the way look really good.
Yeah, because there's also like the Wukong one that we've been talking about a couple of times.
Oh yeah, that one does look sick.
I think this is my favorite one that I've seen because it just kind of looks like a more standard, you're just a human action game. But it also just like looks really gorgeous and has some cool set piece stuff in here.
Yeah, no, this is cool. This is really, really cool.
I was really surprised it already has English dub on this trailer.
Yeah, that
bad,
fills me with a lot of confidence.
That's what I want.
No, yeah, that's what I want too.
I want every game to sound like Gundam Wing.
Because all those ones on Steam are literally machine translated.
Oof. Yeah.
and like they might have beat machine translated with a human being touching them up. Like a human being who does not speak Chinese, but who's like, okay, this is grammatically incorrect. I will try and fix what I think it's supposed to be.
Oh, cool. You fight a really big woman in this game.
Yeah, they show a big boss fight. They like it has a lot of actual violence when you kill the monsters.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Like he's shoving a giant sword into a werewolf-looking thing, a lycanthrope, and it's fighting back with them, and he just sticks his hands in and rips them in half. I'm like, this is wicked.
Yeah.
I wonder if this will be a cultivation story, because I've never actually experienced one of those.
Man, that sure is a giant lady.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Look at her go.
She's made of fucking wood? What the fuck?
Oh, I'm getting really big Urizen vibes from this fight.
Yeah,
know, right?
Yeah, it's got the fucking power geysers just dropping all over the map.
Your reason to take us to court.
Hey, you know what? Developers, if you just want to start making shallow copies of DMC5, I'm fine with that.
We're fucking down with that.
I mean, yeah, so if you want to keep shallow copying Tree of Might, the cinematic masterpiece, by all means.
By all means. Yeah, this looks cool as hell, man. This is really exciting.
Yeah, I'm super hyped for this. I hope that we get like more solid release info and that sort of thing.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's all Bob's news. Mr. Feel.
Okay, Idris Elba is Knuckles.
All right.
Hey, that's a win.
All right. Sure.
Like half my timeline's like finally a big win on like a person of color's Knuckles. I'm like, you got the best one. What next? You're gonna get Vector, and I'm gonna be sad.
Could you imagine they bring Vector in? Who do you cast as Vector? Bob, who do you cast as Vector?
Oh my God, Tracy Morgan.
Holy shit! One and done. We're done here. Shut it down.
It's really good because the whole time I was thinking about that months ago, where I'm like, who do you cast? And I was like, what if you just like make Vector like Spanish or something and get George Lopez?
My horrible brain went to Kevin Hart.
No, see, Bob.
I was going Chris Tucker before Bob answered, thinking Ruby Rod.
Okay, yeah. Well, if you get the Ruby Rod energy, then that would work great.
I don't think he's capable of being Ruby Rod for many years now, but it would be great if he could.
Man, Tracy Morgan, that would actually, I don't know. There's
I know. I can't believe Bob just went one hit kill.
His SNL training has prepared him for this day.
Yes.
There's a really good fan comic of someone saying this is what Sonic 2 will be like, and it's just Knuckles, why aren't you eating your breadsticks?
Your unlimited breadstick.
Yes. And he's like, this isn't even a real garden.
I'm really glad to find out Knuckles is in this. I hope we get as little human characters as possible. I hope they leave Earth immediately.
That would be pretty neat. I want Jim Carrey to be even more cracked out.
Yes.
Wait a fucking second. Something I just noticed in this comic. Is that Tikal on the left?
It might be.
Fucking what? Okay, sorry. That's just getting me. I posted an image for you, too.
Yeah, I can't wait for the post-credit scene to have Charmy the Bee and Espio the Chameleon.
I think that's just supposed to be Sonic.
Why has he got the eyelashes then?
I was like, maybe it's Amy,
I don't know,
but yeah,
he's-
it could be Sonic.
I mean, Knuckles has eyelashes too. I guess they're just like, okay, these characters have guy liner when I draw them.
Okay. I don't see eyelashes on Knuckles. I just see furrowed eyebrow angry man.
I just see Mishima eyebrows.
Yes. Those ratchet eyebrows.
Game Maker Studio 2 is now a subscription service. It costs as much per year as it used to cost outright.
Oh,
I'm so fucking tired of subscription software.
Yeah.
I hope everyone drops them immediately.
The
Good
fact
Lord.
that people had to go full cub going, you don't have to pay unless you export something.
And I'm like, guess what? Like Epic is doing all kinds of shit, putting Unreal into the hands of smaller devs, and so is Unity. I think Game Maker Studio 2 might have just killed themselves.
Yeah. We can make the strong power moves like them, right? Well, do you have hundreds of middlewares free with your software? Oh, you don't?
No.
Your Game Maker Studio?
Goodbye.
Maybe you should not do this.
Adobe has ruined so many things.
Yes, they have. Fuck at them.
Hey, Bob,
Hey, what's up?
are you enjoying Samurai Warriors 5?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I hope you do, because we're back to spinoffs for the next 4 or 5 years.
No.
Oh no!
They've usually maintained doing the spin-offs and doing the real ones. Usually.
Token Ranbu Warriors, a Warriors spinoff based on the Otome game about swords in the Sengoku era, has been announced. Token Ranbu is a mobile game. You are you are like some magic lady or maybe guy. I'm not that familiar with Token Ranbu. You draw for swords, and then you do your summoner magic, and they become hot boys. That is how Token Ranbu works.
So is this actually made by Omega Force?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It is specifically Token Ranbu Muso.
Gotcha.
This was the most requested franchise to get a Muso spinoff when Famitsu pulled in 2015.
That's
It
insane.
was number one.
I'm gonna be upset if
it's
this
huge.
gets a dub. And they don't dub the real games. They dub this.
This has a pretty decent chance, I think, because I think they said that it's only going to have 15 characters at launch. So I think I think there's a above average chance.
I mean,
that it might
Samurai
be
Warriors
dubbed.
only really has 15 characters
So-
as far as the weapons go.
Look, Bob, Fire Emblem took off when they realized if they put in the dating elements.
Yeah, I know.
So here we are turning the Warriors games into hotness bait. We need
I
it
do
voiced.
wonder if this will have Otome elements, like it must, because otherwise, like that audience will want that.
Right.
Yeah, they usually try to incorporate some element of the source material into mechanics. You know?
Maybe it'll be like the Fate ones, where it's like, here's 40 hours of visual novel on top of our bad Muso game.
Holy shit. Value?
I remember when Nasu, the fucking writer of that shit, was like, yeah, I wrote all the content for Fate Extella 2. I wrote enough to make 3 anime seasons.
Ooh.
Value?
The only platforms announced right now are Switch and PC. I assume there will be a PS4 release at some point. Announced whenever it's Switch, whenever it's platform and PC, that means we got some kind of deal for it to be temporarily exclusive for some reason.
Yes. Usually. Who knows? Maybe this is such a Japan-centric game that they thought we should go with the most popular platform of Japan, the Switch. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
And lastly, there seems to be a GTA PS2 collection in the works.
Yeah.
It's been reported by a couple people. There was something earlier this year where Rockstar was like, had left people fucking around with the PS2 ones alone for years. And all of a sudden they're like, no, fuck you. You have to go.
Yeah.
Stop. which is very much a thing you do. And it's like, we're making a product that will directly compete with this.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why when people covered it earlier this year and they're like, why are they doing this to this older games? It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, it makes complete sense. They're absolutely just going to port those.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Nintendo with A2MR.
Yeah.
Or AM2, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
ASMR too, yeah.
Yeah. Finally, I've been waiting. These are going to be running on Unreal.
The baby.
Whoa. Maybe they'll feel good at all.
Yeah, they said they're trying to make it like the games to be as close as the originals, but they're running on Unreal. Trying to make upgrading like the UI, and they said a mix of old and new graphics, which I wonder if that just means a button that just makes it look old and stupid.
I'm sure it's things that were so laughably bad they have to upgrade them. They upgraded, like, say, the main characters.
No, I always want Tommy Vercetti to look like that.
I hope it keeps things that they had in the Xbox ports of those.
Like
Because
what?
the Xbox ports had really cool fidelity things, like you could shoot, like if your car lost its hood and you got out after driving it, the engine would be red on Xbox.
Oh.
It would not be red on PS2.
Huh.
Okay.
I really love Vice City and San Andreas. I've never played 3.
Oh,
But
okay.
there's no good versions of those unless you go back to PS2 or Xbox.
Yeah, hopefully they pay the license, get all the songs back.
That's my biggest concern.
They fucking better. They have to know.
If I'm not getting into your vehicle at the start of Vice City and it doesn't immediately play Billie Jean, they fucked up.
What's that? God, there's so many songs in Vice City I love. Include Cars. Or God, what's another really good one? Whatever, I can't think of any. There's so many.
Yeah,
It's
Vice City has
immaculate soundtrack.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just really like that sources have said they're trying to retain the games and not really fuck with them too much, because God, the recent Rockstar games where it's like you must play this exactly the way we want you to, as opposed to GTA 3 where it's you have to kill this guy but it's really hard, but what if before the mission you know which car they're going to get in, so you just put a bomb in it. And then you start the mission and then just blow it up.
Yeah, I like 3 in Vice City a lot. I could never finish San Andreas, so I don't know if I will leave it now.
San Andreas is great until the ending where it becomes do all these turf battles before the final mission unlocks, which is always where I would quit playing.
I always got to the third city and just couldn't force myself to play more because it just felt like it was dragging too bad by that point.
Yeah, I maybe got halfway through that one. It just kind of kept going.
Yeah.
The middle section of San Andreas is the best. I like the rural farm place, and then San Francisco, and then the desert. I don't really like the Las Vegas city that much, which is the third one.
Yeah, that's where I stop.
But yeah, I'm super excited. I love Vice City a lot.
Yeah, I love Vice City a lot too.
One of the most memorable maps in video games, because they really a thing that they seemingly forgot how to do. They really cleverly just okay, the first chunk of the game, your missions are on this half of the first island. Then eventually you get to go to the whole island. Then they add those middle islands in, and so you get real familiar with all the map. The most insane thing part about this story though is them going, well, we also want to do that to Red Dead Redemption based on how this sells. What's wrong with you?
I guess it's their concept.
It's Red Dead Redemption.
We will remaster things based on how remasters sell, which is psychotic. Also, you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems ludicrous.
It just came out that you're GTA 5 is the second best-selling game of all time behind Minecraft.
Yeah.
And it has to be the most profitable because of their fucking shark cards.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes close to it are things that are bundled in consoles. So if you don't count that, it goes down by 75 million.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm gonna look at highest gross. Okay, there's nobody does it specifically by money.
Yeah.
It's always.
But yeah, it's GTA 5. Also, the next gen version is going to come out. Apparently, originally they were going to do this where they were going to bundle it in with the GTA 5 next gen thing, where it's you buy that to get these, but then plans changed within the scope of this, got a little bigger. So it'll be its own trilogy release, which I feel good that they're doing it like that.
Yeah.
I I miss when you would get something like, say, what Square would do with some collections where they're like, we're going to put more than one game on this.
We're going to sell you more than one game for $40, Bob.
Yes.
Yes. Where I'm like, okay, I can buy this Kingdom Hearts collection. It'll have, two full games and a movie on it, as opposed to, here's a $60 remaster of one game. Thank you, please. I appreciate this. I'm surprised the Mass Effect didn't do that. It would have been funny.
That would have been terrible.
It would have been really bad.
I feel like Western companies are much more reasonable about this sort of thing.
Sometimes
I can't think of any like re-release of a 7th or 6th gen game where it's like it's $60.
Yeah,
we earned it.
They'll just have the worst lighting I've ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah. They'll
Thank you, Batman.
They'll just fuck up all the aesthetic.
There were so many of those.
Yeah, I feel like Batman was like the worst one for a while.
Yeah, that was the poster child for sure, but it was like every single fucking one of those.
Yeah, every time they did an Assassin's Creed, they screwed it up.
Yes.
Now I'm just thinking like Red Dead Original, like that one is incredibly popular. That's the Red Dead people loved.
Yes.
And they're like hesitant to do it. Seems
They're
crazy.
like, we're not sure if you guys still like cowboy games.
We don't know if you still like games that let you play it instead of waiting for the character to shit.
Yeah.
We don't want to remind you that we used to do fun things like have a big DLC where everybody's a zombie.
Yeah.
If these play really close to the originals, I feel like some people will go, wow, this is really good. I wish a GTA was like this again.
It sucks that even Saints Row dropped the ball on that, because I feel like I always thought that Saints Row 2 was like the perfect successor to the PS2 GTAs, and they're like, we don't want to be like that anymore. We want to be Reddit. Which isn't even a joke. One of the fucking yes. Play Saints Row 3 and remember
what you mean. I wasn't ready for you to be right.
The producer literally said, we saw Saints Row 2 was really popular on Reddit, so we leaned into it for 3 and 4. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's the news for this week.
Okay, cool.
As a reward to people who stuck out the podcast. Remember how I said the other versions of Mick Kids are a fucking nightmare?
Sure.
Here's the final boss of fucking the Game Boy port. Anyway,
what is this? Is it Ronald's dad?
I think it's a circus strongman fighting you in a room with what appears to be Ronald's severed head. Yes, because he's one of the old giants.
No, Ronald is dead, and this is like the JoJo's thing where he's looking down on you.
Over the next week, Bob and I will be playing No More Heroes games like 1 and 2 and possibly Travis Strikes Again. Sly Week is obviously not happening because of that, and I don't know when it is, so stop asking. I will let you know when I know.
Don't worry. They'll do it eventually. It's not like they bought the games. They're already in.
Yeah, they're literally
you can see them in every
shelf.
Stream on the behind them.
We're not sitting here like, I don't want to play those Fly games. Let's do a Ninja Theory week.
Yeah, no.
That'll be way more fun. But that's coming. That's what we're doing, and I'm looking forward to a lot of this.
I mean, yeah, the new No More Heroes is coming out soon, so they need to get like supercharged for it.
Yeah, I need to get up to speed. I've been wanting to play No More Heroes this whole time, but it was on the Wii, and I didn't own a Wii.
Yeah.
We'll be playing it on PC.
Is the second one also on PC yet?
Yes, actually. They're both $20 each.
Oh, okay.
We missed out on the motion controls. I assume they ported those to the Switch, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know if they ported that to the Switch, but they ported it running well to PC.
I know.
I feel like they must have ported it to the Switch since half the joke was jerking off to charge sword.
I think that stuff's in. At the very least, I'm glad that you waited, because I assume these are also based on the Switch version, which is not the badly censored PS3 one, where it actually like looks the way it should.
Yes, the PS3 version is the version you need to avoid.
Yeah, so thankfully there's a definitive version on like a couple of consoles now.
Well, what's up, Bob?
I'm remembering some of the alterations for it, when it's like Oh, instead of someone blowing up, it looks like a stick of dynamite blew up in their face in Looney Tunes.
Yes, it does.
It's very funny.
Yeah, the Columbo.
That's ridiculous. Maybe we should offer a stream goal to play it through again on PS3.
No More Heroes Desperate Struggle or whatever.
Yes, that would be very funny to play it first on any other version and then on PS3 with Move controllers.
And then people pay to make you stop playing.
That would be really good. Okay, so that's what we're up to. Hey, KZ, what are you up to?
If any luck happens, I will play through Vampire Rain Altered Species in the form of a stream. Aside from that, Hades comes out on console, and I really want to dig into that because I've been kind of sitting on my hands going, it's coming out on console. Just wait. Just wait.
The Switch is a console.
It's coming out on a console in 4K with adaptive triggers to pet the dog.
Oh, that's important.
I guess I need to buy it again.
See,
we can't transfer a save though, can we? We don't get that.
It does not carry saves,
God.
unfortunately.
They got that working with the Switch at PC,
which probably means they're like, so he's like, give us $150,000.
Yeah, probably. It's so frustrating.
But if you have Game Pass, you can just have Hades.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it's launching on Game Pass. But I'm picking it up on the PS5 so I can plat it. Because, oh boy, I've missed that game and I don't want to use a computer anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah, I also may start streaming Judgment because I really need to get through that before Lost Judgment comes out. They put out an hour of footage of that game. So I was like,
I'm so fucking...
Yeah, when did
I was thinking just the other day, like, man, I'd like to play a Yakuza game, like a normal one, not the new one. Like, oh shit, one comes out in like a month. Like, yeah.
when? Okay, so it's like next month?
Yeah, September.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
it's the end of September, I think.
Okay, great. Awesome. Nothing. I don't feel like I'm drowning at all.
No.
Oh, that's me. I'm like, I got to do that. I bought Skyward Sword. I'm never playing that game ever.
It's okay. We got these No More Heroes games. We got a Metroid thing. We got all this other. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not drowning. I'm not panicking. You're panicking. Hey, Phil, what are you doing?
With any luck, I'll be starting streaming by the time you hear the next Big Think Dimension.
Okay.
Since everything should be wrapped up.
Thank fucking
Thank God.
Christ.
Finally a break.
Speaking of break, we're leaving now. Have a good
Bye.
night, everybody.
I'm going to break my legs.
Goodbye.
Nice freaking podcast!
Oh, God.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. If you would like to support us, head on over to www.patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get extra podcasts and early access to our anime podcast, Chugging Bleach and Mondo Cool. Head on over there and become a $5 backer or a podlord today. This month's GigaBoots executive producers are Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Starfalcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Dobo Muito Real, Ace Gundam Pilot Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, Zilter, and Virmvarn. Thank you very much to our executive producers. And also these gamers. If you want to be a gamer or ascend to God Kinghood, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.